All right. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. Call Halayim Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Arachakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect. And to the men that died doing the work of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because they shall rise first. To the men, women, and children that believe on the true name of the Father and the Son. The Father's name is Yahweh, he exists. The Son's name is Yahweh Shai, he's the deliverer. Because come and deliver us out of this captivity that we're in. My name is Maka Allah Ben Gad Ben Yasharala, the Church of Philadelphia camp here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Once again, come back at you with another one. And as the title says, this was 2 days ago. I've been meaning to do this video. All right, you see it. It says Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo lead wave of banks. It says lead wave of bank closures in just 5 weeks. All right, so this place is falling. You know, that's like a sign for economic collapse, the crash of the dollar bill, where everything is going to be go digital soon. You know, ushering in the MOT to the B, which will be made mandatory during Nero's, administration. All right. So it says major U.S. banks like Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo are rapidly closing branches. All right, they're shutting them down. Babylon is falling, man. You know, it's not going to be too much more longer where you're going to be able to use that paper money like you had in Venezuela. You know, now they're down there they're using the money that they used to spend. They're making what you call it? They're making like baskets, decorations. Hey, shalom, bro. Yabashim Shabrakatah. They're making decorations and all type of stuff like that. All right, but it says these banking giants. All right, so they like you. If you go to out there in the West Coast, I believe it says somewhere in California. You get it up where Bank of America headquarters is at. It's crazy because it's a real tall black building. It's all black, you know. So that's crazy. It's darkness, man. This place is falling, man. Slowly but surely. We about to be out of here, Lord's willing. It says these banking giants have closed around 145 branches in just 5 weeks. God damn. In just 5 weeks, they closed that many branches. And more closures may follow. The financial institutions informed the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, OCC. All right, it says about their intended closures scheduled for February 7th to March 14th. All right, what's today? We passed that. All right, so we're at March 26th. But, you know, they still want to probably close a few more branches. All right, check it out. It says Flagstar Bank leads the list of banks scheduled for closure with 44 branches, while TD Bank follows with 38 locations. Bank of America, which experienced the highest number of branch closures in 2024, totaling 168, announced plans to shut down 9 locations from February 7th to March 17th and March 14th. Now, I remember when I used to do security at the ShopRite, you know, they had a Bank of America in there. And I think it was right around or before, around the pandemic or something like that. Yeah, it was like around the pandemic and all that. They closed the doors, you know, and people was coming in there because they're like on Fridays when people got paid, there used to be a long ass line. And people used to come try to sign up for, get their open bank accounts, you know, things of that nature. But being as though that pandemic hit, you know, they shut that branch down. It was a dude that used to come in there and clean, and he got paid for nothing really, you know. So when I saw that, I was like, damn. So now look where we're coming. So now you're seeing these banks closing like this. You know, you got another pandemic coming, man. You know, the evils is growing on this earth, man. This place is done, man. Lord's willing, we want it to be done like yesterday. All right, but it says, and this is showing you the fall of the American money, man. All right, like I said, this is ushering in that digital currency, which everybody's turning to Bitcoin. That's the thing, cryptocurrency, things like that. But all this leading us to is to the MOTB, man. All right, which is Revelation 13:16, and then Revelation the 14th chapter. All right, it says Chase also filed a notice of non-closures during the same five-week period. Closures followed shutdowns from January 12th to February 6th, during which U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, and PNC informed the OCC of 107 planned closures. Now, all these banks, all right, that we're mentioning right here, the owners, like I'm talking about the ones that started, right? They owned, they got their wealth off of slavery of the Israelites, man. You know, and Lord's willing, tonight I just was reading up on Exodus, so I want to go into the laws on having slaves. Because Esau, laws wasn't given to him, but the way they treated us and the way Ishmael treated us and all these other nations treated us during slavery was crazy, man. So they all have to pay, mainly Esau in this time period right now. All right. But it says the wave of closures is anticipated to escalate in 2025. Damn. So it's about to get, man, this year is about to be crazy. And everybody talking about the beginning of the year, this is going to be their year. And we in January, March, we're in the third month. And look what's going on already. All right. It says the wave of closures is anticipated to escalate in 2025, resulting in an additional 4.11% decrease by the end of the year. Retail bank closures in the U.S. aren't slowing. Matter of fact, it says retail bank closures in the U.S. aren't slowing, and our research shows that the last time this many people relied on a local bank branch was in 1995, said digital marketing expert Darren Kingman. So they've been planning these things, man. And on top of that, like, you got closures on all these stores, man. Like Macy's. I'm talking about major stores, man. Major corporations that's been in Babylon for a long time, man. You talk about generational wealth and all that. Well, that's what all these stores got their money off the backs of our ancestors. The Israelites, the slaves, man. We were slaves here. We still are slaves here. You know. But now the Lord is he's breaking this thing into pieces, man. All right. And you can see that all the talking that we doing, the Lord is showing you the action. And people still, they not understanding it. But you got some people that's understanding things, and they still don't know what to do, and they're not going to know what to do. All right. It says retail bank Slack here. Go to the next paragraph. It says the ongoing trend of bank branches shutting down nationwide has worsened due to the pandemic. You see that? Has worsened due to the pandemic, like what I explained. All right, so it says, according to The Sun, in 2023, the U.S. saw the highest number of bank failures since the 2008 recession. I believe that's when this guy, Barack, was in there, Barack Obama, and it was crazy with him. He signed a lot of things in the order and everything, but like, I was looking up these pictures I had, because I was working around at the presidential debate. I had to work that day around that area, so they had up the 2025 agenda, and since then, everybody that Trump's put on his side, on his campaign or whatever, his administration, they all down with that. Elon Musk, his vice president, all of them is down with this agenda, man, and they're pushing it, but it's the Lord that's doing it. And Trump is making a lot of enemies with NATO and and the EU and other countries as well, man. So this thing is about to hit the fan for real. Martial law, they got that card. They talking about that. You'll be on the lookout April 20th. They trying to give you dates, but we don't know. That's what they're saying. But we know that at any given time, anything can happen. Come, brother. Brother got this. Second Ezra 6 and 22. The brother Kodash. Second Ezra 6 and 22. It says, and suddenly shall the sown. That's right. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. That's right, man. Just like, and matter of fact, down here in Philadelphia on I think it's what's that like 12th and Market, between 12th and Market and 13th and Market, that Macy's there. This is this is funny because when you come in that store, been there since the 1900s, man, early 1900s, man. And when you come in the front door, it's a big ass eagle. People's like, oh man, they closing the doors on this place. Well, the Lord is closing the doors on Babylon. And what made me think about that because they was talking about the eagle. And that represents America. It also represented Babylon. It represented the Greeks, and I believe the Romans. Because the Romans too, because they had that on the back of their coin, that eagle. So they all in the same spirit. But this place, like the brother put there, Second Ezra 6:22, the sown place is going to be unsown, man. And I was watching a video with this guy, the rap battle dude, O Solo, and he was in Detroit. He was like, damn. No matter of fact, I think he was in Kansas City, and he was walking in the park, and it was a robot that's coming through a patrol area. When usually he was saying like how usually it would be a actual person. He was trying to make a joke like, oh, it would be like somebody uncle such and such, and they would come through with the gun on their hip and be like, oh, you can't park here. But now they got the machines doing that. All right. So they're taking a lot of jobs from people. The grinders is about to cease, and Lord's will not grab that scripture. You know. And he said the robot had mace on it. So that makes you think about that movie, I, Robot. Everything that they put out here in this entertainment world is basically it's them showing you their vision, what they want to do. But the Lord is going to shut it down, and they even know that. They know about the chariots coming back, but they're not going to tell you that. Just like they had the slave Bible, where they took out things just to make you worship your masters, your earthly masters here, them. Because they had us in slavery, hardcore slavery. But now we're still in slavery, like I said. But it's more so of a mental thing because they got you thinking that you're free and you're not. All right, let's go here. To start the next paragraph. It says, in the third quarter of 2024, U.S. bank branch closures hit their highest quarterly level since the first quarter in 2022, totaling 439 net closures. Damn. It says in the first 9 months of 2024, 944 net branches were closed. Experts have warned that the significant decrease in bank branch numbers could have far-reaching effects on those who depend on physical bank locations. All right, like I said, you ain't gonna be able to go to the banks anymore. Everything's gonna be digital. There's gonna be no need to go there. Matter of fact, where we teach at on out here in Philly, it's a Bank of America that's behind us, and on the Saturdays, usually the bank would be open to about Bank of America branches, I say about 3. And I'm not sure as I haven't been around there lately during the daytime hours to see if that branch is still open. It might be closed. I ain't gonna say it's closed, but they still got the ATMs in there where you can still use that. But it's a lot of banks that's just you only could use the ATMs now. You can't physically walk in, open an account. Everything is online. All right, that's why they set those things up. But it says the closure of these branches can particularly affect elderly customers. See that? Elderly customers who may have greater difficulty using online and mobile banking services. Because a lot of elderly, they're in that generation where they ain't teaching them how to use it. So they need like a younger person to teach them, like a grandchild, grandchild, nephew, niece, something like that. So they're trying to weed out those people, man. What they say, out with the old, in with the new. So if you're not on top of these things, these events and all these things that's happening, you're gonna get left. But ultimately the Lord is just shutting this place down, and it's just going to lead up to the MOT to the B, man. All right. It says the closure of these branches can particularly affect elderly customers who may have greater difficulty using online and mobile banking services. Research also shows that the mass shutdowns disproportionately affect banking customers with low incomes. That's Jake, a lot of Jakes, but now you got a lot of Jake that have money too, so don't get it twisted. Disabilities or racially diverse backgrounds. All right. It says according to self financial physical banks, Banks may become obsolete with the last brick and mortar bank potentially closing as early as as early as 2041. We know America don't got to no goddamn 2041. And if it does, man, the Lord about to street. Well, I know the Lord ain't going to do that to his men, man. You know. But grab the scripture real quick. I'm gonna get up out of here. We don't want to make this too long. That's I'm gonna try to do this next video real fast. There we go. Con. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12:3. Bear with me. There we go. We're gonna go down to verse 7. It's Ecclesiastes, KJV 12. I'm gonna start at verse 3. Hold on, let me get my Bible back. I'm gonna go to KJV first. I'm gonna try to get an NLT. Hold on. All right, so it's Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 12, verse 3. Ecclesiastes 12:3, it says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out the windows be darkened. All right, so the grinding, the keepers of the house, like, it's not going to be any jobs, man. You know, like when Trump was he campaigning and all that, and he went to what was that, McDonald's. Now they got robots in McDonald's. I believe it's for the drive-thru that you order your food, and it's you talking to AI technology. You know, so they're taking, well, basically the jobs that Jake would have. Younger Jakes, some older Jakes that got caught up in the system and things like that. It came up in that field or whatever. Those type of jobs, man. And for the most of all, it's even like I said, security jobs. That's what I do. They're trying to make it where computers run everything, man. They even trying to get a goddamn computer. I got these niggas is crazy. It says verse 4. It says, "And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low." All right. It says, "And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low." So ain't gonna be all that partying no more. The weekend, these people are about to feel it, man. You know, but I believe it's in Second Ezra's 16. I know it's the 16th chapter when it speaks on how evil shall grow upon the earth, but they still will not turn from the wicked ways. Roughly paraphrasing. Then that's what's happening right now. These people still getting married. The Lord told us about that. Still partying, bullshitting, and everything. When everything around them is falling apart. So they're trying to keep that mirth spirit, because that's all they know how to do. When things get bad, niggas want to party to forget about it. Well, you ain't gonna be able to forget about this, man. All right. It says 5, because the Lord's grabbing your attention, man. Everything that you trusted in is gonna fail you, unless you trust in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, by Shema Chakodash. Because you see all these exposures happening in Israel, the ones of the circumcision and the ones of the uncircumcision, man. It's a whole lot going on in Israel. From the 1/3. Matter of fact, I ain't gonna say the 1/3. I'm gonna say those are the circumcision who know that they are Israelites, and 2/3 of Israel, the ones that's going to be destroyed anyway. They were numbered for the sword, but they're being exposed too. Mainly this guy Puffy, he got put out there, which Cat Williams was speaking on a whole bunch, but all them niggas going to basically get exposed pretty much, man. All right, but verse 5, it says, back in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 5, it says, "Also, when they shall be afraid of that which is high, and fear shall be in the way, And the almond tree shall flourish, and the grasshopper shall be a burden, and the desire shall fail, because man goeth to his long home, and the mourners go about the streets. Damn, a lot of death, man. A lot of death. And the mourners, the ones that's mourning, gonna be in the streets crying and all this bull. I mean, not bull crap, but it's gonna be real. It says, or ever the silver cord be loosed, or the golden bowl be broken, and the pitcher be broken at the fountain, or the well broken at the cistern. Then shall the dust. No, it's like it. That's going into death right there. Because well, a lot of people gonna die. But anyway, I ain't want to go that far. Hold on, we gonna go here. Get that in the NLT. Bear with me. Let's read the first couple verses, because that's going into what we're talking about with these banks and all that. All right, so this is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 3. It says, "Remember him before your legs, the guards of your house start to tremble, and before your shoulders, the strong men stoop. Remember him before your teeth, your few remaining servants stop grinding, and before your eyes, the woman looking through the windows see dimly. Remember him before the door, Salaki, before the doors to life opportunities is closed." Damn. See that the door to life's opportunities, and that's like these jobs, man. That's the opportunity to work, to take care of your family. So you're supposed to remember the Lord before all these things are happening. Scriptures also tell you to remember thy creator and thy youth before the evil times come. All right. And these banks closing, man, listen, I'm telling you, jobs is being taken, people's livelihoods are being taken, these women are being laid off, because a lot of women work in that banking field, and they depended on that, they depended on mammon more than Yahweh Shem outside, because they never thought that these things would happen. They never thought that these days would come, and they never, they said, not in my lifetime, because they didn't want to face reality. They didn't want to face their judgments, man. So it says, "I remember him before the doors to life opportunities is closed, and the sound of work fades." The sounds of work fades. I listened to this song, man. It talks about, and the name of it is called "Fade Away." And then reading this reminds me of the lyrics of that song, because Benji sings it, man. It says, "Life's opportunities is closed, and the sound of work fades. Now you rise at the first chirping of the birds, but then all their sounds will grow faint." You all hype, people get up in the morning, go to work, but you're going to be in misery, because you lose your job and everything, you get laid off, you get fired and everything like that. Your mindset tends to, I don't want to say malfunction, but you're so used to that routine. That's why you got to trust in the Lord, man. His man is going to do that. Because I lost my job before, and man, it's going through it, but I just, you get depressed and everything, but now is not the time to get depressed, man. Now is the time to keep moving forward. Yahweh Bashim Shah spoke of these things, man, and they're happening. So just be happy that you know his name, his son's name. All right. And that's who you call upon. All right. Verse 5, it says, "Remember him before you become fearful of falling and worrying about danger in the streets." Because that's what's coming, man. When these banks close and people can't go get their money, the digital system shuts down, because now you can physically go to the bank, pull out money and all that. But this digital thing, they could just take it right, wipe it right out, your whole account, And people, hey, man, that's what that whole MOT to the B is about. That social scores and things of that nature, what they're trying to implement, so you could get, I guess, bonuses and everything, pays and all that, if you follow their rules. Because I think they had that over there in, I'm gonna say China or something like that. Because I know it's over there, where they have that social scores, and if you go against this, then they could cut your money, you won't get paid and everything, man. That's what this place is headed to. Matter of fact, the whole world on the whole, because that's the hour of temptation where where we're coming to, man. And that's what the MOT to the B is going to bring. Who you going to serve? Who is your power? Is it Esau or is it Yahweh? You heathens, to hell with y'all, because you don't have no savior. All right, this is only for the message to the elect. all right, of Israel, or the nation of Israel, all right. It says, before your hair turns white like an almond tree and bloom, and you drag along without energy like a dying grasshopper, and the creeper berry no longer inspires sexual desire. Remember him before you near the grave, your everlasting home, when the mourners will weep at your funeral. Because like I said, it's going to be a lot of death, man. You're supposed to remember the Lord before these times happen. Don't try to, once everything goes down, then you want to call him. Nah, the Lord, like I said, the Lord could take his name from you, because a lot of people take it in vain. They use it lightly, you know. But you're going to find out real soon, man. So Lord's willing, just a quick one. I wasn't trying to make it that long. Lord's willing, it's edifying. You got something out, just to keep your watch, because the days of evil, man. The days of evil are upon us, and they're ushering in very fast. So with that, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Arachakwadash. Double honors to the elders, apostles of Bishop Salakia, but double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. To the next lesson, I'm saying Mawafa Baba Ball and Kwam Yasharala. Shalom.